College Classic? Did you say College Classic campuses? Well, sure you did. We're reading Exodus. We're in the book of Exodus, and we're studying the word of the Lord. Hi, how are you? We can see you. Thank you, Lord God Almighty, as we continue to study the book of Exodus. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Go into Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, that these signs may come. Oh. And the Lord said to Moses, I will yet bring one plague upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt, and after that he will send you forth thence. And whenever he sends you forth with everything, he will intend indeed drive you out. Speak therefore secretly in the ears of the people, and let everyone asks of his neighbor jewels of silver and gold and raiment, and the Lord will save. And the Lord gave his people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, and they lent to them. Now here's the funny part: is that they were allowed silver, gold, pearls, jewels, and all that, and the Lord showed them favor in the last hours before they departed, and there was a reason for that. So don't think that for some reason you're not allowed to have riches, because you can. So, and speak therefore secretly in the ears of the people, and let everyone ask of his neighbor jewels of silver and gold and raiment. And the Lord gave his people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, and they lent to them. And the man Moses was very great before the Egyptians and before Pharaoh and before his servants. And Moses said, These things saith the Lord, about midnight I go forth into the midst of Egypt, and every firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sits on the throne, even to the firstborn of the woman servant that is by the mill, and to the firstborn of all the cattle. And there shall be a great cry through all the land of Egypt, such has not been since actually Rachel. But it doesn't say that here. Such has been, and such shall not be repeated any more. But among all the children of Israel shall not a dog snarl with his tongue, either at man or beast, that thou mayest know how wide a distinction the Lord will make between the Egyptians and Israel. And all these thy servants shall come down to me and do me reverence, saying, Go forth thou, and do me reverence, saying, Go forth thou, and all the people over whom thou presidest. And afterwards I will go forth. And Moses went forth from Pharaoh with wrath. And the Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh will not hearken to you, that I may greatly multiply my signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. And Moses and Aaron wrought all these signs and wonders in the land of Egypt before Pharaoh. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not hearken to send for the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be to you the beginning of months. Thank you. It is the first to you among the months of the year. Speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, On the 10th of this month, let them each take a man a lamb according to his house of their families, every man a lamb for his household. And if they be few in household, so that there are not enough for the lamb, he shall take with himself his neighbor that lives nearer to him. As to the number of souls, every one according to that which suffices him shall make a reckoning for the lamb. It shall be to you a lamb unblemished, a male of a year old. And ye shall take of the lambs and the kids, and it shall be kept by you till the 14th of this month. And all the multitude of the congregation of the children of Israel shall kill it toward evening. And they shall take of the blood and put it on the two doorposts and on the lintel in the houses in whichsoever they shall eat them. Now let's stop here for a minute here, because a lot of people don't understand exactly what this lintel is, and we must know exactly what that is. We cannot leave you in the dark for this lintel. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what this lintel is. Lintel, L-E. A lentil is an edible legume. It is a bushy annual plant for its lean shape and its seeds. Right? That's what a lentil is. How about a biblical lentil? Lentils. Lentil. Exodus. Now, a lentil cannot sing or even whistle, longing to make music, but on the doorpost of symbolism, thus said to put Exodus helped to bring you the Ethiopian lentils receipt. I covered the blood as better understanding of Exodus, Egyptian archaeology. Okay, so let's see what this is. This lentil is in Egyptian archaeology provides a clear understanding of the events surrounding the Israelite slaves' final night. Egypt 1 delivers a powerful lesson about salvation and faith alone. Here we wonder why God asked the children of Israel to paint on the lintel 2 doorposts of the door their houses prior to the 10th plague. And sure, you answer it was served as a sign for the angel of death. That's where the house is. And that's true, but why the doorposts, since no one is kept out of the dwelling or doorpost, why not paint something like a big cross on the door itself? Egyptian archaeology provides an answer, one that can teach us a powerful lesson about salvation by faith alone. The Museum Institute of Archaeology. Have you ever wondered why God asked the children of Israel to paint on the lintel, the doorpost of the houses? Your answer, sure, you answer. It was to serve a sign of the angel of death to pass over. No, it's true, but what the doorpost, since no one kept the dwelling by the doorpost, why not paint something like a big cross? Well, Egyptian archaeology. One source describes Israelites as the people who kept themselves a distant rank, a distinct race, having nothing in common with the Egyptians in common of religion, and thus retained knowledge of the Lord. This distinctiveness changed quickly after the death of Joseph, and by the time the burning bush, Moses had fretted over the blindness of ignorance and unbelief of his people, and many of whom were almost destitute of the knowledge of God. So, also according to the biblical record, by the time of the Exodus, the Israelites were no longer nomadic, but were dwelling in houses. Exodus 12:22, an Egyptian custom that they had adopted. In short, the Israelites were becoming very much like the Egyptians. This point is an important understanding for the fellows. And the Egyptians believed in the eternal afterlife, and their building practices that Israelite adopted reflected this belief. Egyptians built their dwellings from the lowly slave houses to luxury palaces. Some building material, mud, brick, because of the present life was temporary, and they used temporary building materials for their homes. In contrast, they built their temples and their tombs out of stone, reflecting an external afterlife. Any building that was to be used for the afterlife, temples and tombs, had to be made out of the material that would last forever. The only exception to this archaeological rule was the doorposts and the lintels of their mud brick homes. These were made out of stone. This construction reflected their belief in what constituted a human being. Egyptians believed in 5 parts of the human being. If any of these parts ceased to exist, the person would cease to exist forever. The physical body was one part, and this is why the mummification was important. The body had to survive death. If the person in the afterlife was to survive, the shadow was another. They believed that the shadow demonstrated reality and was a very real part of a person's being. Another part was to our life force. Christians call the force that gives life the breath of life. The fourth part of the person was about our character traits. The last part of humanity in Egyptian thinking was the name. What is a name? That's very interesting. Okay, so now we know why God wanted them to paint the lintels and the doorposts, not a cross or anything like that. Okay, so they were living in houses. They were living in homes. They had doorways and doors, and everything was made out of brick and stone. Okay, so let's finish. That was really good. Yeah, you see what happens when you study. And Moses and Aaron wrought all these signs and wonders in the land of Egypt before Pharaoh. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not hearken to send forth the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be to you the beginning of months. It is the first two among the months of the year. Speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, On the 10th of according to the houses of their families, every man and lamb in a household, and if they be few in a household, so that there are not enough for the lamb, he shall take himself a neighbor and his lives near him, and the souls of every one according to the suffices him, and shall make a reckoning to the lamb. It shall be to you a lamb of blemish, a male of a year old. And ye shall take it of the lambs and the kids, and ye shall be kept by you on the 14th of this month. And all the multitudes of the congregations of the children of Israel shall kill it toward evening, or the even. And they shall take the blood, and they shall put it on the two doorposts, and over the lintel, and the houses in which over they shall eat them. And they shall eat the flesh in this night roast with fire, and they shall eat unleavened bread and bitter herbs, and ye shall not eat of it raw, nor sodden in water, but only roast with fire. The head with the feet and the appurtenances, nothing shall be left of it till the morning, and a bone of it ye shall not break. But that which is left of it till the morning ye shall burn with fire, and thus shall ye eat it. Your loins girded, and your sandals on your feet, and your staves in your hands, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is a Passover to the Lord. And I will go through the land of Egypt in that night, and will smite every firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And all the gods of Egypt will I execute vengeance. I am the Lord. And the blood shall be for a sign to you on the houses in which ye are, and I will see the blood, and will protect you. And there shall not be on you the plague of destruction when I smite in the land of Egypt. Now, when the Lord passes over, not only does he smite beasts and all that, but from my study, flies, if there were any, rodents, if there were any, were dead. Birds were on the floor, dead. Everything was dead of the firstborn. Everything. The first male born died. Nothing lived. And this day shall be to you a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord through all your generations, and ye shall keep it a feast for a perpetual ordinance of 7 days. Ye shall eat unleavened bread, and from the first day ye shall utterly remove leaven from your houses. Whosoever shall eat leaven, that soul shall be utterly destroyed from Israel, from the first day until the 7th day. And the first day ye shall be called holy, and the 7th day ye shall be called holy convocation to you. And ye shall do no servile work on them, only as many things as will necessarily be done by every soul. This only shall be done to you. And ye shall keep this commandment, for on this day I will bring out the forces out your force out of the land of Egypt, and ye shall make this day a perpetual ordinance for you throughout your generations, beginning the 14th day of the first month. Ye shall eat unleavened bread from evening till the 21st day of the month, till evening. Wow. January 14th to January 21st. 7 days leaven shall not be found in your houses. Whosoever shall eat anything leaven, that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, both among the occupiers of the land and the original inhabitants. And ye shall eat nothing leavened, but in every habitation of yours ye shall eat unleavened bread. And Moses called all the elders of the children of Israel and said to them, Go away, And take to yourselves a lamb according to your kindreds, and slay the Passover, and ye shall take a bunch of hyssop, and having dipped it into some of the blood that is by the door, ye shall touch the lintel, and shall put it on both the doorposts, even of the blood which is by the door. But ye shall not go out every one from the door of his house till the morning, and the Lord shall pass by to smite the Egyptians, and shall see the blood upon the lintel and upon both the doorposts, and the Lord shall pass by the door, and shall not suffer the destroyer to enter into your houses to smite you. And keep ye this thing as an ordinance for thyself, for thy children forever. And if ye should enter into the land which the Lord shall give you, and he has spoken, keep this service, and it shall come to pass, if your sons say to you, what is this service? That ye shall say to him, the Passover is a sacrifice to the Lord, as he defended the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and have delivered our houses. And the people bowed and worshipped, and the children of Israel departed and did as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass at midnight that the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on the throne, to the firstborn of the captive maid in the dungeon, and the firstborn of the cattle. And all the Pharaoh rose up by night, and his servants, and all the Egyptians, and they were as a great cry in the land of Egypt, for there was not a house in which there was not one dead. And Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron by night, and said to them, rise and depart from my people, both ye and the children of Israel. Rise and depart from me. Depart from me now. Go. Go and serve the Lord your God. Even as ye say, and take with you your sheep and your oxen. Bless me also, I pray you. And the Egyptians constrained the people, so that they cast them out of the land with haste, for they said, we all shall die. And the people took their dough before their meal with leaven, bound up as it was in their garments on their shoulders. And the children of Israel did as Moses commanded them. And they asked of the Egyptians articles of silver and gold and apparel. And the Lord gave his people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And they lent them, and they spoiled the Egyptians. And the children of Israel departed from Ramses unto Succoth, to the full number of 600,000 footmen, even men besides the baggage. And a great mixed company went up with them, and sheep and oxen, and very much cattle. And they baked the dough which they brought out of Egypt, unleavened cakes, for it had not been leavened. For the Egyptians cast them out, and they could not remain, neither did they prepare provision for themselves for the journey and the sojourning of the children of Israel, while they sojourned in the land of Egypt. And the land of Canaan was 430 years. And it came to pass after the 430 years, all the forces of the land came out of the land of Egypt by night. It is a watch kept to the Lord, so that he should bring them out of the land of Egypt that very night. And it is a watch kept to the Lord, so that it should be to all the children of Israel, to their generations. And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, this is the law of the Passover. No stranger shall eat of it, and every slave or servant bought with money, him thou shalt circumcise, and them shall he eat of it. A sojourner or hireling shall not eat of it. In one house shall it be eaten, and ye shall not carry the flesh out from the house. And a bone in it shall not be break. And the congregation of the children of Israel shall keep it. And if any proselyte shall come to you to keep the Passover to the Lord, thou shalt circumcise every male of him. And then shall he approach to sacrifice it, and he shall be even as the original inhabitant of the land. No uncircumcised person shall eat of it. There shall be one law to the native and the proselyte coming among you. And the children of Israel did the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron of them, so they did. And it came to pass that in the day the Lord brought out the children of Israel from the land of Egypt with their horses. This is College Classic Campus Hits. I'm TcYbarra. God bless you as we continue to study Exodus and what took place there. Very beautiful. That was very interesting with the Egyptians. I like